Hey there fellow Commander players, welcome back to my channel. It's time for another thrilling episode of Budget Power-Ups, a series about getting the most out of your Commander decks without breaking the bank. From explosive ramp spells and game-changing win conditions, to clever combos and synergistic creature packages, we'll be exploring it all. My mission? To show you that you can compete with the best without maxing out your credit cards. So, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to keep updated for more of my future Commander content. Before we start, I would like to quickly mention my friends at Paramount Designs. They make amazing playmats with fantastic quality. If you're interested in picking up a new playmat with great artwork, check out the link in my description below, which is offering a special discount code for my YouTube viewers. I have also recently made a Patreon. Feel free to check it out, the link's in my description below. Okie dokie, without further ado, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Let's dive into these power-ups. Number 1. Tribute to the Wild. An instant spell that costs 1 green and 1 generic mana to cast. It says the following: each opponent sacrifices an artifact or enchantment. I love this removal spell. I think it's very versatile and efficient. It feels relevant at all stages of the game, however, early game is when this card really shines. The idea is, well, the dream is, to be able to cast this on your turn 2, in the hopes that the other players on the table have all dropped their 1 mana Soul Rings or 0 mana Mana Crypts. If that's the case, you cast this and have your opponents have to sacrifice their 1 mana drops, as long as it's either enchantment or an artifact of course. You can totally mess up your opponent's plans with this card, propelling yourself way ahead. It's a great power up worth picking up, and you can buy this card for around 35 cents. Number 2. Compost. An enchantment spell that costs 1 green and 1 generic mana to cast. It says the following: whenever a black card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you may draw a card. Black is perhaps the most popular colour in Commander. I could be wrong of course, however I see that colour so often in my Commander games that that's how I feel. This being said, it highlights how good Compost can be. The more black cards your opponents send to the graveyard, the more cards you will draw in that game of Commander. With the card draw being a very powerful mechanic in Magic the Gathering, and this enchantment only costing 2 total mana to cast, this card really is excellent, and definitely a noteworthy power up. You can buy this card for around $1. Number 3. Pink Horror. A demon horror creature that costs 1 red, 1 blue, and 3 generic mana to cast. It has 4 power and 4 toughness and says the following: Coruscating Flames. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Pink Horror deals 2 damage to any target. Split. When Pink Horror dies, create 2 2/2 blue and red demon horror creature tokens named Blue Horror with, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature deals 1 damage to any target. Okay, Pink Horror has one of the coolest names in Magic the Gathering universe for sure. It's very charming. The card in my opinion is fantastic, especially in decks that run a lot of instant and sorcery spells, as you can inflict a lot of damage to opponents with Pink Horror's triggered ability. Pink Horror feels somewhat like a goblin creature we all know, called Gutter Snipe. The split ability on Pink Horror is incredibly unique and makes it stand out from the crowd for sure. You can buy this card for around 50 cents. Number 4. Swerve. An instant spell that costs 1 red and 1 blue mana to cast. It says the following: change the target of target spell with a single target. Swerve is a great card in Commander because it can be used offensively and even defensively in response to spells that target players or permanents. This can give you an advantage by turning your opponent's spells against them or protecting yourself from potentially harmful spells. Additionally, Swerve can create interesting and unexpected interactions during gameplay, adding an element of surprise and strategy to your deck. Overall, the versatility and utility of Swerve make it a valuable addition to any Commander deck, and it's also incredibly budget friendly to pick up, as at the moment you can buy this card for around 35 cents. Number 5. Infectious Inquiry. A sorcery spell that costs 1 black and 2 generic mana to cast. It says the following: you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Each opponent gets a poison counter. Paying 3 mana to draw 2 cards is not bad at all. The 2 life loss is minute and will not affect your game too much, especially in Commander, which is a 40 life format. What makes Infectious Inquiry really good though is that poison counter it gives to each opponent. This could be the last infect/poison counter you need to remove a player from the game, or perhaps the first poison counter added to an opponent, which you can then use to start proliferating. Being able to easily give opponents infect counters, poison counters, however you want to call them, and bypassing the combat damage route makes Infectious Inquiry an excellent power up for those infect players out there. You can buy this card for around 35 cents. Number 6. Tatyova Benthic Druid. A legendary merfolk druid creature that costs 1 green, 1 blue, and 3 generic mana to cast. She has 3 power and 3 toughness and says the following. Landfall. Whenever a land enters a battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So a thing to note about Tatyova is that yes, she is a legendary creature, so if you like, you can run her as your commander. And she's a mighty good one as well. As a power up for the 99, she's also a solid choice. Tatyova provides card draw whenever you play a land, which can help you maintain a full hand of cards and keep up with your opponents, making her an all-star in any landfall based decks. Tatyova also gains you life whenever you play a land, which can help you stay in the late game longer and survive aggressive strategies. Being a merfolk makes her a great addition for any tribal/tybal merfolk decks out there. Overall, Tatyova Benthic Druid is a strong card choice for players who enjoy a strategy focused on lands, card draw and life gain. And you can buy this card for around 40 cents. Number 7. Disciple of Bolas. A human or wizard creature that costs 1 black and 3 generic mana to cast. She has 2 power and 1 toughness and says the following. When Disciple of Bolas enters a battlefield, sacrifice another creature. You gain X life and draw X cards, where X is that creature's power. Okay, so Disciple of Bolas is both a human and a wizard, which are very good creature typings, as they are both very popular in the format, making Disciple of Bolas fit in many tribal/tybal decks. Disciple of Bolas allows you to sacrifice a creature to draw cards equal to its power. In Commander, where games can go long and card advantage is crucial, these abilities can help you refill your hand and stay ahead of your opponents. In addition to drawing cards, Disciple of Bolas also allows you to gain life equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Many Commander decks are built around the sacrifice theme, whether it's sacrificing creatures for value, or sacrificing them for tokens for effects, or sacrificing permanents to trigger abilities. Disciple of Bolas fits well in these type of decks, allowing you to get additional value from the creature you sacrifice. Overall, this card is a great power up, especially for those card draw and sacrifice themed deck lovers. You can buy this card for around 80 cents. Number 8. Seer's Sundial. An artifact spell that costs 4 generic mana to cast and says the following. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2 generic mana. If you do, draw a card. Seer's Sundial is a quality card for the landfall focused decks out there, as it highly rewards you for each land you play. Okay, you have to pay 2 generic mana to activate its juicy ability, but that's very achievable, and easily achievable in a landfall deck, as often you manage to stack up lots of mana as the game goes on. If you like playing lands and drawing cards, then Seer's Sundial is a great power up for you. You can buy this card for around 40 cents. Number 9. Undead Butler. A zombie creature that costs 1 black and 1 generic mana to cast. It has 1 power and 2 toughness and says the following. When Undead Butler enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. When Undead Butler dies, you may exile it. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, Undead Butler. Undead Butler is a sweet card in Commander, as it offers a versatile and powerful effect that can benefit many different types of decks. It can be used to search for and recur important creatures from your graveyard, providing valuable card advantage and recursion options. Additionally, it has a low mana cost and can be easily reanimated or recurred with various graveyard synergies, making it a valuable tool in reanimator strategies. It also has that nice ETB ability, enter the battlefield ability, of milling 3 cards from our library, which is a great way to throw some hopeful, wicked creatures into our graveyard to be reanimated later on. Overall, Undead Butler is a great power up for many commander decks, especially those graveyard recursion decks. Also, remember, when Undead Butler dies, you exile it, and when you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, which is very sweet. You can use this to get something back from your graveyard. You can buy this card for around 60 cents. Number 10, the final card on my list. Oriq Loremage, a human warlock creature that costs 2 black and 2 generic mana to cast. It has 3 power and 3 toughness and says the following. For tap, search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. If it's an instant or sorcery card, put a +1/+1 counter on Oriq Loremage. Now this is an extraordinary card that you don't see very often. I'd say it's severely underplayed. Being able to tutor decks into your graveyard is a powerful effect. With his ability to discard cards, Oriq Loremage can work well in decks that have graveyard synergy. Cards with flashback or retrace abilities can be easily used from the graveyard, making Oriq Loremage a valuable asset. And if the cards he throws into the graveyard are either instant or sorcery cards, we even get to give him a +1/+1 counter. Nice. This is an excellent power up that's worth picking up, as right now it's still relatively cheap to purchase. However, I have a strange feeling that it may spike sometime in the future, so pick one up now when it's pretty cheap. You can buy this card for around $1. Okay everyone, we have come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for making it this far. If you did enjoy the video, please could you drop a like, comment and subscribe to the channel. I would really like to know if you have any recommendations on budget upgrades for Commander. If you do, please share it in the comment section below. I love reading your comments and always try my best to answer them all. Thanks for watching everyone, and as always, take care and goodbye.